Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miyuki Mile. I'm your host, Miyuki Takara. The pink-haired man broad's back, and today we're going to be talking about a little religion, a little backstory to this one. Of course, in 2009, I dressed up as Miyuki Takara for Halloween. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Miyuki Takara is a fictional character from the Lucky Star anime. I did that as a little little fuck you move to one of my friends, and that's actually a completely different story. So Halloween Day, 2009, I show up dressed up in a red and white schoolgirl outfit with fluorescent pink hair. And this actually piqued the interest of a friend of mine, somebody that I work with. For the sake of privacy, we're going to be naming her Merilith. Merilith decided that she really wanted me to get involved in the store Halloween costume contest. She dressed up as an Eskimo that year. I later found out, about a month later, that I had won the in-store, we still work at a grocery store, Halloween costume contest. And Merilith decided that she wanted to challenge me for the next year, to sort of a Halloween dress-off. A personal competition between the two of us. And initially there wasn't anything at stake. The only rule was that we had to be princess characters. Originally I was going to be either Princess Zelda or Princess Peach from The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers respectively. What the hell is that? There's something going on outside. I actually recorded this February 1st and it is fucking cold out there. So it snowed overnight, and it is fucking cold. They're probably trying to maintain everything, get the parking lot of the apartment complex I live in to a point to where nobody's actually gonna slip. Why the fuck would anybody go out there? It's 10 below zero here, and no, I am not kidding. It is 10 below zero out here in Denver. I don't know a single person that's not jealous of Grand Junction at this time. I'll get in on that in another mile. So anyway, so Merilith decided that she wanted to challenge me. Now, she did end up transferring stores for a while, and I had originally thought that the contest was off as a result. Originally, dressing up as Miyuki was supposed to be the last time I dressed up for Halloween. And as a result of this Halloween costume contest, between Merilith and I, that actually didn't happen. She came back a few months later, and she reminded me of the contest, and she re-emphasized the only rule that we had, but instead of being princess characters, we can only be female characters. Originally, I had planned on being Megarine Luca from Vocaloid. For Halloween. However, that ended up changing to the costume I eventually was, Miko from Vocaloid. Yeah, the one in red. I even had the midriff. Now, eventually, over the course of the year in between Halloweens, Merilith and I did end up coming up with a little bet. This happened in August of 2010. The bet was, if she beat me, and it really didn't matter if anybody got first place. It just mattered who got more votes. If she beat me, I would end up having to go to church with her. Originally, her side of the bet was, if she beat me, I would buy her Starbucks. It later ended up becoming Tully's, but I'd end up having to buy her Starbucks for the better part of a month. But if I beat her, she'd buy me a 6-pack of my favorite beer. Well, she ended up dressed up as Medusa. And I swear the voting was rigged. She ended up winning. And I'd actually later come to find out that the voting was sort of rigged. I'll explain that at a later time. But, so she won, and I ended up joining her to church with her 2 kids. They're going to be completely nameless because they're minor players in this whole thing. We ended up going to Denver First Church in Denver, Colorado, and it got me thinking about religion. A while back, I was recruited by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon faith, and I really haven't had such a great past with religion. The end result to that one was I ended up getting booted, and that was back in 2006 because of a verse in the Bible. Back then, I actually had long hair, and they said, well, if you want to become a member of this church and if you want to get baptized, you need to cut your hair. They gave me 3 weeks, and I still didn't do it. I like my hair long. And so they said, we don't want a shameful man in our congregation. So I asked them what they were talking about, and they pointed to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. And I talked to a friend of mine about this, and he said, that's not religion. And I said, yeah, there's a verse in the Bible about that. So 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14, I became very familiar with this. And it says, and I quote, "Doth not nature itself teach you, if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?" Now, I actually did get baptized when I was young, under the auspices of Northwest Baptist Church in Poulsbo, Washington, under the pastor Joe. I'm not going to give his last name. He is a private resident. So, yes, I did get baptized. I was 12 years old. However, religion has actually changed over the last several years. And my experience at Denver First Church was not typical to what religion is nowadays. Denver First Church, how they came off, I actually felt comfortable there. It was the first time since late in my time in Washington State. I moved away in 1999 to Colorado. Late in my time in Northwest Baptist Church that I actually felt comfortable. It took over 10 years for me to finally feel comfortable in a church. What goes on there is not typical to religion. The reason I say that is because I've been anywhere and everywhere. I've gone to church in Aurora, Denver, Fort Collins, Cheyenne, Omaha. Let's see, there was also Kansas. I forget the city, it was a long time ago. But I went to church in Kansas as well, and it just seemed to me that religion nowadays is less about praising and more about recruiting and bringing in money. Your donations. And, I'm one of those that, way back in the day, I was desperate for something and would have given up everything to get to have something to believe in, to have something to look forward to. I never got that. And it doesn't mean that I'm going back to Denver First Church. My recent experiences with churches, I kind of screwed that over for every church out there. Sorry, guys. That's just the way it is. So, religion, it had a lot of potential about 50 years ago, when it was more about, and yes, I can actually say that, I might be half their age, but I actually had a relative that recorded several sessions from way back in the day, and it actually came off as more or less about praising back then. If religion hadn't changed over the last 50 years and ended up declaring war on one another, you didn't have Christian faiths going at it with one another. The Orthodox Christian and the Mormon. If religion hadn't changed over the last 50 years, it would have been something to believe in. But it has, and it's gone way down the drain. I mean, you have every religion declaring war on Christianity. Now, I do really want to praise the Mormon faith. Yes, they kicked me out. However, the Mormon faith, when everybody else is declaring war on Christmas, the Mormon faith is sitting back and saying, okay, you want to declare war on us? Merry fucking Christmas! While the Christian faith, the Orthodox Christians, are declaring war on everybody else as well. That's not religion. I mean, if you really look at it, it doesn't matter what religion you're looking at, they all practice the same thing. They practice brotherhood with one another no matter what they believe in, but you also got to praise that particular God. And it's just gone down the drain since then. What the fuck happened? Now, they say 4/5 of all Americans have a Bible. I'd actually say the ratio is more or less 9 out of 10. I'm one of those that has a Bible. I actually have 2 of them. So you can't say that I'm not coming at this at least somewhat rationally. You know, yeah, I didn't necessarily have a great experience. So one might think that that does alter my opinion a little bit. Okay, I'll give you that. It just comes off. It just seems to me that religion it's less about praising nowadays. It's less about worship and more about money and recruiting. The more you recruit, the better your church is. And to be honest, coming from somebody who's non-religious in any way, I'm not affiliated in any way. It's just really sad to see religion going down the drain the way it is. The best way to live is non-religious. I don't even consider myself an atheist. I don't care how the world came to be. The only thing I live is day by day. So, you know, that's just the whole thing with religion. And it's just sad. So anyway, running short on time. Coming up next on the Miyuki Mile, we're going to be listening to some Little Boots, Remedies, excuse me. This is actually a song that Merilith really liked. I ended up singing it to her on the way back from church that day. So I'm going to be playing the entire song for Merilith and her kids. And coming up next time on the Miyuki Mile, we're going to be tackling a little randomness. Not your comments. I'm still recording this before I have internet. But, you know, hey, that's what's coming up next. You're listening to the Miyuki Mile.
I can see you stalking like a predator.